Greetings, everyone. I want to talk about the upcoming new moon on March 10th. This will be a super new moon, as we experienced last month, and then again in April. The total solar eclipse new moon will also be a super moon. So this is a very powerful sequence of new moons, and I'd like to talk about this lunar cycle and its connection as leading us up to that powerful solar eclipse in April, followed by the very powerful conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus on April 20th. But let's focus on the energies of this new moon and what they have to tell us. So let's look at the chart. We will experience this new moon on March 10th with the sun and moon at 20 degrees of Pisces, and they are part of a stellium in Pisces with Saturn and also Neptune in Pisces, along with the asteroid Hygeia. And I'm going to be talking quite a bit about the meaning of the fact that Nessus, the centaur, is also part of this stellium. But it's powerful that we're experiencing so much Piscean energy as we move into this super new moon. And as I talked about in my interview with Keone, I think as we are coming to the close of the age of Pisces, preparing to cross that threshold into the age of Aquarius, which I see as getting activated when we experience Pluto moving fully into Aquarius the end of November of this year. As we're experiencing all of this energy in Pisces at the time of this new moon, I do believe it is supporting us in paying attention to and integrating what are the lessons of the age of Pisces that we need to integrate, and what has been out of balance in terms of our experience of the archetypal energies and lessons of that age that we need to be conscious of as we're preparing to move into this new age. One of the things that I've really come to honor and respect, coming from the wisdom of ancient cultures, is that time is not linear. We actually live in cyclical time, and we experience the movement of the sun and moon and planets through the signs of the zodiac across the year. We experience with the larger 24,000-year precessional cycle how we move through the ages of the different constellations of the zodiac across that larger cycle. But we live in cyclical time, and I believe that we're actually living in spiral time, where we're called to integrate, work these lessons that we're moving through in these cycles, to move into higher consciousness, to have the opportunity to move into new paradigms and a new understanding of who we are and how we can live in balance on the earth. So as we move into this new moon, I think it's very significant that these energies are calling our attention to integrate the energy of Pisces, and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is part of this stellium. What are the archetypal energies of Pisces? If we reflect on the origins, the beginning of the age of Pisces, we look at the spiritual teachers that came forward at that time. Buddha, as we're moving into the age of Pisces, Christ and Christ consciousness. It was a time of reminder of how the roots of every religious tradition comes from these mystical roots of remembering our connection to the mysteries, to the cosmic consciousness that is within us and all around us. Pisces is that water sign that is the reminder of the sea, our source, and of the sea of cosmic consciousness from which we all have been birthed. So as we integrate the energy of Pisces, it's calling us to dissolve that sense of ego and sense of separate sense of self, to remember our place in the oneness of all that is, to come back to those mystical roots and remembrance that we are part of infinity. We are each a fractal expression of cosmic consciousness. And as we reintegrate that energy of Pisces, it calls us into compassion, into love, into that ability to be holding that understanding and sensitivity and empathy and compassion for all of those around us. This is the energy that can help us hold the suffering of the world in love, in compassion, and come back into that alignment with our soul selves. I think it's also very significant that Saturn is part of this stellium in Pisces. And remember, my deeper understanding of the meaning of the planet Saturn, that planet that is at the threshold between invisible and visible reality, is that it is the shaman. It is the wise teacher who helps us know how to move between the worlds, between the realm of invisible reality and manifest reality, this material realm that we live in and are incarnated in. So Saturn is helping us to remember that we are a part of infinity and we are here as an expression of that cosmic consciousness, that divinity, to bring our gifts into this realm and then live from that place of compassion with that, as Keone would say, that reverence, that remembrance of our soul selves and our capacity to hold that deep honoring of the sacredness of ourselves and of all of life. I believe it's very significant that the centaur Nisus is part of this stellium. And Nisus is that centaur that, remember, the centaurs guide us in our healing process. And as Melanie Reinhart would say, the meaning of Nisus is the buck stops here, that we are called to face and be accountable for issues that come out of our ancestral lineage, that come out of our cultural and historical experience. How have we gotten out of balance? What has created chaos in our world because we haven't integrated the deeper meaning and understanding of the Age of Pisces? I also think it's very significant that this new moon is opposite Black Moon Lilith and the Kuiper Belt object Orcus. Black Moon Lilith is really that energy of the wisdom of the ancient sacred feminine, guiding us to realize the importance of our mutuality in relationship, and particularly that balance of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. Orcus is a very intriguing Kuiper Belt object that's named after an Etruscan and Roman god of the underworld who punished those who had broken their oaths. So Orcus is calling our attention to what are those pledges, what are those oaths that we have committed to, those values that we knew were an important part of who we are in the world that we have not honored. And because it's opposite this new moon in Pisces, to me, it's really calling our attention to the karmic consequences of how we have not honored the deeper pledges and commitment to what it means to integrate that energy of the age of Pisces, that commitment to the sacredness of all of life, that commitment to our own awareness that the sacred is within us, that we are a part of cosmic consciousness, meant to live in alignment with that in how we live in our day-to-day lives. So Nisus is calling us into healing that. Orcus is really supporting us in seeing the karmic consequences of the ways in which we have broken those pledges and commitments to honor the deeper meaning of the age of Pisces. Part of what I think has led us into being out of balance with the age of Pisces is that we took those mystical roots of every religious tradition that were about honoring the sacredness of life, honoring that the wisdom of the divine, the wisdom of cosmic consciousness is within us, and we are meant to live from that. We are meant to be in alignment with that. And instead, because we were carrying over the out of balanced energies of the previous age, the age of Aries, where we got into that dynamic of patriarchal power over and control, that hierarchical way of being, we ended up taking the energy of the age of Pisces and institutionalizing it. So it was no longer about how do I live with that sense of sacred within me and in alignment with my soul self and in alignment with the sacredness of all of life and the energy of cosmic consciousness. It became religion as power over, hierarchical, institutionalized. So it was another way in which we were caught in that out of balance, patriarchal power over dynamic. And Nisus is saying, it's time to heal that cultural history. It's time to heal that ancestral lineage. And Orcus is saying, you need to look at the karmic consequences of that. It's also profound that Chiron is conjunct to the North Node in Aries. So it continues to be in this powerful conjunction with the North Node, supporting us in healing those dynamics from the age of Aries that we continued to get caught in through the age of Pisces. And it's time to heal those and release that out of balance, power over dynamic that has led to so much destruction and chaos on the planet. And we're seeing the extremes of the shadow side of humanity and that power over destructive energy in the wars that are going on around the globe and in the ways in which we continue to violate our environment and abuse those who are most vulnerable on the planet. It is time to heal from that out of balance Aries energy to come back into a more whole, healed sense of ourselves individually and collectively. This new moon is in sextile to Jupiter and Uranus, supporting us to get clarity about what we need to release and how to come back into balance with natural law, Uranus and Taurus. We're also seeing that the new moon is in a sextile with Ceres and Pholus, again, supporting us in coming back into a more healed relationship with the earth and the sacredness of all of life. It's also significant that Pluto is in a sextile with Mercury here, just moving into Aries, supporting us in rethinking how we see ourselves and those paradigms that we've held across these last 4,000 years, and how it's time to let go of those out of balance paradigms so that we can be moving towards an integrated, healed, whole way of moving into the new paradigms of the age of Aquarius that are about living in balance, that are about honoring the sacredness in all of life, that are about reweaving the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine in a balanced way, that are about coming into a new understanding of community, collaboration, and how we can co-create the world in a way that is living in balance and harmony with all of life. And let's look now at where this new moon is in the sky. So at the time of the new moon, the sun and moon in the tropical zodiac chart are in the sign of Pisces, and they're also moving into the constellation of Pisces. And I think it's significant that the sun will be in the stars of Pisces, moving through this constellation from the time of this new moon through about April 20th, when we move into that powerful conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus in the sky in Taurus. So again, I see this time frame from this new moon through that time of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on April 20th as a time where we're meant to be honoring and integrating this energy of Pisces. And remember that the constellation is the image of the two fish, one swimming along the ecliptic, the other swimming up towards the sky. And they're connected by this star Al-Resha, the sacred knot, meaning we're meant to be weaving and integrating our experience of our life on this earth plane as we move through our experiences and our time on in this dimensional reality, but we're meant to also remember and connect with that energy of our spirituality, our connection to infinity, and hold them together with this energy of the sacred knot, realizing we are immortal and we are mortal. We are a part of infinity, but we are here in this particular incarnation, in this particular experience of this lifetime on the planet. But as we can reclaim that Piscean awareness of our being infinite beings, soul selves, having a human experience, then we can come back into more clarity about who we are and how we've gotten out of balance on this planet by our overemphasis on our experience of third dimensional reality, pulling us into scientific materialism and a denial of our divinity, a disconnection from our awareness that we are soul selves, that has led us into this survival modality on the planet that is about conquest and survival of the fittest and conquer or be conquered. That has created such destruction and imbalance on the planet. And the energies of this new moon are calling us to release that, to heal from that, to come back into remembrance of who we are, to come back into balance. This is a powerful super new moon. And because it's carrying such strong Piscean energy, I really encourage you to see where this new moon falls in your chart. How are you meant to be integrating this Piscean energy in this powerful time? I'd encourage you to really take time to reflect, to pay attention to your dreams, to take time to walk in nature. This is a time to be open and aware and remembering the sacredness of all of life, and that we live in this metaphysical, powerful reality that is beyond our visible reality. The ancient cultures knew and honored that energy of spirit, of cosmic consciousness, is in all that is and is around all that is. We are not separate. We do not live disconnected from each other or from the cosmos or from the life around us. It is all interconnected. It is all a part of this oneness of all that is, this sacred cosmic energy. And when we can remember that, then we can come back into alignment with our soul selves and come back into that awareness of how we need to live in compassion and in love and in right relationship with each other and with everything around us. So I think this new moon is calling us back into that awareness, back into that time of letting go of that sense of separation, letting go of the survival modality that we've been in, to let go of some of those defenses that have kept us from experiencing our own hearts, our own vulnerability and sensitivity and capacity for empathy. So give yourself time and space at this new moon to allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling and open to the energies of this time. Because I do believe that we are being supported in this time of reconnecting with the lessons and the energies of the Age of Pisces in preparation for this accelerated change and transformation that's happening as we move across the next 9 months to cross that threshold more fully into the Age of Aquarius. I do believe that these energies of this lunar cycle are guiding us towards this powerful total solar eclipse on April 8th, which I'll talk more about in my next video, and then into that powerful conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus on April 20th, calling us into radically new ways of seeing our world, of being aware of our consciousness, of coming back into remembrance of natural law, to change the paradigms that we've been living in and to move in new directions, to be preparing to move into that more profound shift into the Age of Aquarius at the end of the year. And remember, in that conversation that I had with Rory Duff, he is sharing how the energy, how the earth ley lines are strengthening and intensifying as we're experiencing these powerful energies coming from the sun, coming from the cosmos, coming from the galactic center, that are activating our DNA, that are shifting our consciousness, activating our pineal glands, calling us into these new paradigms, calling us into higher consciousness in preparation for when he believes that by the time of winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere, summer solstice in the southern hemisphere at the end of this year, we will be experiencing the earth ley lines being in that harmonic activation all year around. So for us to be able to integrate that, to be able to be moving into this accelerated shift in our consciousness into that more fifth dimensional way of being and that experience of ourselves as energy beings, homoluminous ones, we need to heal and clear what would block us. We need to release our out of balance patterns and be opening to the shifts that are guiding us into higher consciousness and into living more and more fully from the heart, more and more fully from that place of compassion and our awareness that we're a part of infinity, our awareness that we have made these pledges as soul selves to live from our purpose, from our deeper truth, from the essence of who we are, and to be revering and honoring the sacredness in each other and in all of life. To remember that everything is a fractal expression of cosmic consciousness. Everything is an expression of divine oneness. So as we can integrate these energies, it's supporting us in moving more into unity consciousness, to move beyond being caught in polarity and dualities, but to hold the wholeness of who we are and to be in balance and in alignment with our deeper selves. This is what we're capable of, but we need to allow ourselves to be in this healing process and to release what we need to release that's been blocking us from coming back into that true understanding of our being part of the oneness of all that is. As we're going through this shift and experiencing this stellium in Pisces at the time of this new moon, honor that you may also feel flooded with emotion, with different feelings that come up. You may at times feel fatigued or overwhelmed or vulnerable, or feel as if you've lost your center, you've lost your grounding. It can feel like you're hit with a wave of emotion and of energy as you experience the intensity of this Piscean energy. But honor that, surrender to that, trust that what's coming up for you emotionally is guiding you in what you need to heal, what you need to release, to be more in alignment with your soul self, to be more open to these shifts into higher consciousness. So allow yourself to hold with compassion whatever you're experiencing. Let those feelings move through you and honor them, but don't get mired in them or pulled down by them. Allow yourself to be in the currents of what you feel and allow yourself to be in that flow, trusting that those waves of Piscean energy are carrying you and supporting you into the shifts that you uniquely need to make to be more fully, truly in your authentic self and in alignment with your soul self. So let's hold ourselves and each other with compassion in this powerful time and hold that energy of empathy and compassion and emanate that out to all around the globe who are suffering in this time, who are feeling overwhelmed by the trauma and the shadow side of humanity that is still playing out in our global community. Let us hold the globe in that energy of love and compassion and emanate that to bring peace into the world, to bring healing into the world, to be supporting us all in shifting into these new paradigms and into this higher consciousness. Blessings and love to all of you, and blessed be.